All right. Hello. Testing, testing. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. I just wanted to say and get this stuff out. So, welcome to TadTalks. TadTalks is going to be uh, basically a podcast where I just talk about whatever the hell I want. It's going to be a place for me to discuss all kinds of hypotheses and theories and dive down whatever rabbit hole we so choose to do on that particular day. My mission statement. My goal is to create an atmosphere of comfort where we can discuss all things interesting, conspiracy theories, cryptids, aliens, paranormal, etc., with open minds and genuine curiosity. Art, painting, woodworking, pottery, homesteading, whatever it may be, that's what we're going to do. Okay. I wanted to create a place that had as minimal hate, negativity, and vitriol as possible. I want to create a place where you're free to discuss topics that may be considered off-brand or conspiracies or whatever they may be called, negative or positive, believed to be for good or for nefarious reasons, all from a place of genuine curiosity and discuss it without being nasty to each other. That's my goal. If we can do that, then we're in good shape. And also, yes, I am Batman. So, this is just mostly a test. I guess we can call it a pilot episode to see if we can make this become a reality. I'm going to post it on my page just once I'm done so that I can, like I said, just use it to learn. I'm teaching myself how to edit. I'm teaching myself how to do everything strictly so I can do these podcasts. And I don't want them to bleed into each other. I don't want somebody to think that they can't come and talk to me about something veteran related because they saw a video where I'm talking about dinosaurs in a cave in Idaho. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is, not everything we're discussing is stuff that we firmly believe is true or that we firmly believe is actually happening. More so that we're curious. We just want to discuss it. Let's go down the what if rabbit hole each episode. We can call it hypothetically speaking if we want to. It doesn't matter. The only point that I want to convey is that we discuss it, share our ideas, and understand that everybody is different and has different viewpoints and may not agree wholeheartedly with everything. But again, it's kind of imaginary land what we're diving into here. So we can talk about whatever we want without, persecution for saying it out loud and having somebody think you're crazy. That's my goal. So if we can do that, we're in good shape. I want to talk first and foremost about the drones over New Jersey. I truly think that there are a plethora of possibilities as to what those could be. They could be our government possibly gearing up to perpetrate some, fear-mongering thing against us, some false flag operation against us. It could be some company that just wanted to prove to the military that they could, for some security test, push through using their new technology that all these private companies, Skunkworks and all these places are creating to show it off for more funding. It could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as somebody screwing around, although I don't think that to be true because the size of these things being reported and the way that they move, Granted, drones can move very fast, but the size of these things that they're reporting, I don't believe that one to be true. But it could be. You don't know. Could be aliens. Could be. Why couldn't it be a possibility? Could be submerged, unidentified submerged objects, USOs. That's one that I teeter on thinking might be closer to the truth, in my personal imaginative opinion, that they are coming from under the water, and they have been here, and they have been watching us, and they have been interacting. That's a possibility too. But the point is, we don't know. And until people get together and discuss it and try to figure it out and find new ways to communicate with each other so we can figure it out without it getting blindsided by argumentative nonsense, we're not going to know the truth. What I firmly believe people need to understand is that it is not one side versus the other side, and everybody has to pick a side and mount up and, go to war with each other. I don't believe that that's what needs to happen. I believe that we are being kept separated and argumentative, and I believe that Mandela effect, all these separate things are put together to keep people from reaching that point of knowledge where everybody ascends together to the next plane of understanding. And I think that they do that because that consciousness is the power that they thrive to keep, and they don't want us all being on the same page. Because if we were, we'd understand that everyone's against us, and not us against you or whatever. And that scares them. So they have to keep us separated. They have to keep us believing different things. They have to keep us believing that certain things are evil while other people think those certain things are amazing. Because if they don't, people revolt, and the people are, when you narrow it down to the smallest chamber of understanding, we're all humans. We all bleed the same. We all have a soul. And if you go into any neighborhood in any city, in any town, in normal, whatever, America, or in other countries, you're not going to find this craziness that you see on the TV that's pumped into your homes every night. You're going to find people caring for each other. I was in the military for 20 years. I've been to numerous places. I was in the Air Force for 20 years. I was in logistics. I'm not attempting to say that I'm some higher up in some CIA, that I didn't work in Area 51 or any of that. I'm just saying that I've been around enough to see that humanity in the smallest moments wins. And if people remember that and aim just for that, we can start to turn the tables on everything if we come together as humanity. That being said, that's my spiel. I wanted to get that out in this pilot episode because I want people to be firm in their understanding of what I'm trying to accomplish by doing this. I don't want this to dictate how people think about my other podcasts that I want to do for helping veterans with all of the mental health and everything. DD 214, services provided, services required, anything that we can do on that page. I don't want that clouded by this. These are separate things, and this is a let's go down the rabbit hole for fun together type scenario. And if we find some truths, well, then we find some truths. So that's my goal. That's my spiel. So the drones. I watch every news source I can watch. That's a whole nother episode, but every news source is biased one way or the other. You're not going to find one in the United States that gives a critical, legitimate, truthful view of what's going on in the United States. It's just not going to happen. You got Fox News on one side, and you got all the other ones on the other side pretty much. And they're all pushing anti this, anti that. None of them are talking positive. None of them are trying to jump the aisle and work together or communicate or compromise in any way, shape, or form. Because if they were, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in ever. Because logic and common sense would override. But I think that the most logical thing for the drones would be that they are I'm torn between us making them ourselves. We already know that anything that we see on TV as a purchasable product or something used by every day in the world is not where we are technologically. By the time we see anything, it's been in use for at least 15, 20 years and has been upgraded to the point where what we're seeing is the beta. And they use that so they can keep sucking money out of us by giving us the slowest updates possible. And by the time we reach what we think is the pinnacle, they've already created something 17 times better. That's not a conspiracy. That's fact. So do I think that it could be a drone piloted by us? Yeah. They talk about false flags all the time. They've talked about the possibility once COVID didn't do what they wanted it to do. They've talked about an alien invasion being the next thing that they would try to use to scare us into whatever it be, martial law, the bigger defense spending bill, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. So that's a possibility. I think it very well could be that. I definitely don't think it's a group of kids with their drone collection trying to show how cool they are, because they're saying that they're using methods that involve F-16s and other aircraft trying to intercept these things with drone trapping technology, and it's simply evading them like they're standing still. How is that possible? You know, this is where I would hope that people would be in the chat talking to me about it. But this is the pilot episode, so I'll play both sides. It's just not feasible to think that way. But I do firmly believe, especially when you look at the ones overseas, they've had what they're calling drones look more like they look like surveillance technology to me. Recon. That's what they look like. You see the ones, if the ones taken by that pilot on the runway are to be true and accurate, or taken to be truthful and accurate to his knowledge, that thing isn't holding an army that's coming to invade you. That thing is gaining reconnaissance on how we fly, how we operate, what our space programs are like, what our nuclear programs are like. They're watching us either to see what our response is, to test us, or to make sure, if they're governing us, to make sure that we're not fucking up whatever it is that is so valuable here that they're willing to watch over us for, whether it be us ourselves, if you believe that we are a being that comes from out there somewhere, whether it be did they see us as a threat because they have a resource that they need from us, and they think that it may come to a point where we don't want to give it up to them, whatever agreement, if they have an agreement with the government. We don't know. So that's my spiel. I had about 14 minutes there, which isn't bad for talking continuously for me with the minimal amount of ums that I could possibly muster, because I have a couple of wires frayed in my brain that make it hard for me to remember stuff. That's why you'll always see me looking down and reading from my book, or looking to somebody else to maybe better articulate what I'm trying to say, whatever it may be. I just, the fact that people are worried about, what side you voted for, and abortion, which again, different episode. Not trying to touch hot button topics. Don't care who you voted for, uh, but I digress. I don't want to get off topic. If the news would stop reporting on stuff like that and start reporting on things that are actually happening right now, people would be happier and calm down. But they're not reporting on it. They should be. This should be all over the news. This should be the only thing people are talking about. You have something that we can't control, that we can't stop invading our bases, our nuclear bases, our regular bases, our research facilities, and now just popping up in broad daylight across the country and the world, and have been for how long? Why is it not being discussed? You can say panic amongst society, and I'm sure that would happen. But I personally believe it goes back to that fact of, if everybody's on the same page, they don't have control anymore. And that's why they're compartmentalizing it. They compartmentalize the information that you get. They compartmentalize the information they put out to different sources. You watch a news article, or you read a news article, or you watch a news program on the same topic on CNN and Fox, you're going to get two totally different stories with two totally different sets of facts, and each side is going to claim that the other side is out of their mind and crazy and lunatics and psychopaths and alt-left and far-right, because that's the information they're being told, and you're not seeing it because you refuse to watch CNN, and the alt-rights or the far left isn't seeing it because they refuse to watch Fox, so nobody knows that they're being misinformed, and they've been doing it for years. It was just easier because they didn't have anything but newspapers to worry about, so they could just they could control the narrative way better. So my personal belief is that it is something extraterrestrial. I would hope that it's not, because to hope for aliens is a frightening concept in and of itself, because what happens if you're right? Now you got to worry about, are they here for good, here for evil, here to reclaim their seat on whatever throne they may believe they had based on which history book you read and how all these things were built back in 5000 BC and even earlier. It's it's a mixed bag of, you're kind of screwed if you do and screwed if you don't, either way. So I wouldn't hope for aliens. I would hope that I'm wrong and that it's another government that has something a bit higher technology than us, because at least that's something you can control. You can research and develop and get something that's better, or capture one, like they just captured one. Well, according to the news article I read, they captured one. If it is something human made, they can reverse engineer it, make something similar, and then we can overcome that if we choose to as a country, if we have something to hide, which I'm sure we do. So as far as the ones on the airport, so you're seeing two different types. You're seeing what look like probes, what kind of, honestly, the picture that they show of the one in the airport that pilot took, or the video, it looks like the Voyager probe, doesn't it? I mean, to me, except without all the antenna coming off of it. It moves in ways and speeds that there's no possible way that could be made by a human hands. There's absolutely no way that those circular ball orbs that you're seeing, if they're real, are made by man. The huge car-sized drones, yeah, they have those. They're all over the place. You got guys flying around on jetpacks over the water in the Coast Guard. So yeah, that could be human.
I brought the Christmas tree guy up.
Okay, I'm live on YouTube talking, but I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know how to edit, so you're on it.
Okay.
So I'll learn how to edit. But until then, that was my wife. Yeah, so that's my goal with this. Just to talk, just to open the lines of communication with other people who are like-minded that wish to discuss anything like that, possibilities, because the possibilities are endless. And even if you are a firm believer in a God and think that the rest is nonsense and there's a logical explanation, I want to hear about that too. Not to argue and debate, just to hear what other people think. Gathering up as much information as you can is the only way you can even attempt to start to come up with any kind of truth. If I read something on whatever news, Fox News, I don't stop and say, that's it. I read something from another news source on the opposite side of it, CNN, MSNBC, although, and then I try to find two sources at minimum from a third-party independent news source. Reuters used to be a good one. Sometimes it still is. I get a little bit suspect about Reuters just because of its source. Al Jazeera used to be a really good one until that one kind of went. But all independent news sources, you take where you started, you take the total opposite end, and then you take a few sprinkled in with other opinions, and you can start to formulate, a bubble of possibilities. And once you start poking around inside the bubble, things start to congeal together, and you start to get an idea of where the truth may lie. It's my working hypothesis on how I do things. I could be completely wrong, but so yeah. So what I'd like to do is start to do these at least once a week. I want to have people on. I want to have people call in eventually, or video in and discuss them. I want to be able to open it up to people who may have evidence or may have close encounters of their own that they could recount, or have a source that may a viable source that may debunk whatever somebody else may be saying or what I'm saying. I want to know all that, because I'm not trying to create and push my own narrative. I'm trying to find out the truth. So that's the goal. And I think we can do it. I think we can do it on a lot of subjects. I think there's a lot of subjects that won't need much, but I think there's a lot of subjects that people may be surprised at what they thought was the reality that they've lived in for so long that may not be the reality they've lived in for so long. And I think once more people open their minds up to that, they might start to see that the veil that they've had over their eyes might start to break apart, and they might start to see, everything's not as cut and dry as I thought it was. And that's when people can start waking up and ascending into what I call the next level of, knowledge and understanding, next level of consciousness, I guess, where people start to collectively understand. And because they've done tests on hive mind theory and all of that, and it's proven to an extent. I mean, I used to use the hundredth monkey theory, but in my research on a different topic, I was researching the Palestine train wreck. Was going to be my first show topic, and in doing that, I found that the hundredth monkey theory had a couple of holes in it that I didn't know about previously, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm still working on it, but there is a line of thought that says that when enough people collectively start to understand something, that consciousness, that knowledge can spread organically to other people. And once that grows to a certain point and people are all connecting and understanding, that's when the real truth comes out. That's my personal theory. But I'm going to wrap this one up because it is just a pilot and I am just talking to myself. I would love to have this shared. I am on YouTube under Tad Wesser or The Squirt Russell, and which is my video game name. But it's hard enough to start one YouTube page. I'm not attempting to start 3, so I'm just putting everything under one umbrella. I encourage you to tell people about this, share, comment on the video so I can look at the comments and see if I'm getting, feedback. I want both positive and critical feedback. And that's, hopefully I can find like-minded people that can help add constructively to what we're trying to build here by doing this. So I will say with that, I appreciate it. And I appreciate YouTube for giving me a platform to do this on. And with everything going on with TikTok, we're unsure if TikTok is going to be around for much longer for us. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Again, entertainment purposes only. These are all hypotheticals. These are all what ifs. And thank you for letting Tad talk. Appreciate it. The more you know.